My client was a housewife, and she told me she wanted to lose weight. And when I asked her about what was going on, she said the problem was her husband. It turns out that her husband was a workaholic, and people around him had to be doing something, or he might give them the look. The look peels paint at 20 paces. And I said, well, how's that an issue? And she says, well, when he gets home in the afternoons, I'd be sitting on the couch reading my book, perfectly content. However, according to my husband, reading a book isn't doing something. So I'd go into the kitchen and get a bowl of ice cream and start eating. And as I'm asking her about the look, it turns out that he uses it fairly often, and sometimes he does it without even noticing. She told the story of their travels. Somebody was putting the luggage in a taxi on their way to the airport, and her husband gives the bellhop the look. And my client says, why did you do that? He said, do what? So it seemed to me that it might be useful for her and for him to interrupt that pattern of giving people the look. So I talked to her about pattern interruptions. If you interrupt a pattern enough times, it will tend to extinguish the pattern. I was doing phone counseling with a woman at one time, and she told me that she had an issue with fainting. Her doctors had tried for years, they couldn't find anything wrong with her, and that her mother-in-law would nag her about things. And I said, well, every time she starts to nag you, just faint. She'll stop, because nobody is going to nag an unconscious person. And so interrupting mother-in-law's pattern of nagging enough times, it's going to stop. And so I told my client that next time her husband gives her the look, that she should just get all sexy and take him to bed. She said, well, yeah, he'd like that. Sex is doing something. Then I said, well, you could run out of the room screaming. You could faint. You could start going, oh no, please stop. Anything that would be an unexpected response. And as we're going through a number of creative and silly things, she said, well, I could mooning. So I saw her the next week, and she said that she was doing fine, and she wasn't afraid of the look anymore, and that her mother was coming to visit, and Mom was afraid of the look. And I said, what, you're not going to be sitting on the couch going, I can get the look first. No, I'll get it first. He says, yeah, Mom would get into that. And so sort of by remote control, I got Mom to stop being afraid of the look. And it was a lot easier for my client to start doing some of the things she'd been wanting to do. She wasn't afraid of the look anymore. And she really did lighten up quite a bit. This is one of the big pieces in helping her stick with a weight control program. This has been another story from the edge of hypnosis and NLP. I'm Wesley Anderson, Doctor of Clinical Hypnotherapy.